The city sleeps under a blanket of darkness, streetlights casting long shadows across empty roads. It's 2:15 in the morning when the notification chimes on my phone. A ride request from an industrial district I rarely venture into at this hour. The pickup location sits between abandoned warehouses and shuttered factories, where even the moon seems reluctant to shine. Something in my gut whispers to decline, but bills don't pay themselves. I accept the ride and drive into the silence, my headlights cutting through the fog that's begun to settle like a living thing. The air feels heavy, thick with anticipation. This is the kind of night where anything can happen, where the ordinary world holds its breath and waits. If you want more stories like this one, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next on Last Ride. I pull up to the coordinates and kill the engine, waiting. The street is deserted, not a soul in sight, just the distant hum of a highway and the occasional bark of a dog. Minutes tick by. I'm about to cancel when a figure emerges from between two buildings, moving quickly, but not running. A man in his mid-40s, wearing a wrinkled dress shirt with sweat stains visible even in the dim light. His face glistens with perspiration, despite the cool night air. But it's what he's carrying that makes my hands tighten on the steering wheel. A large black suitcase, the kind you'd take on a 2-week vacation, except he's struggling with it like it weighs twice what it should. He approaches my car with urgent steps, his eyes darting left and right, scanning the empty street like he's being followed by something I can't see. He throws open the rear door with more force than necessary and heaves the suitcase onto the seat with a grunt. The car actually rocks slightly from the weight. He climbs in beside it, breathing hard, and immediately locks the door. His hand shakes as he does it. "Airport," he says, his voice rough and low. "Take the highway. No side streets." I glance at him in the rearview mirror, trying to read his face, but he's already turned away, staring out the window at nothing. The suitcase sits between us like a third passenger, silent and ominous. I start the car and pull away, my mind racing faster than the engine. What's in that case? Why is he so terrified? And why do I suddenly feel like I'm not just driving him somewhere, but driving us both towards something inevitable? The highway entrance looms ahead, and I merge into the sparse late-night traffic. 2 cars. A semi-truck far in the distance. Us. The silence inside the vehicle is suffocating. I try to break it with small talk, asking about his flight, where he's headed, anything to make this feel normal. "Business trip," he mutters, not meeting my eyes. "Early flight." His answers are clipped, defensive. He checks his phone every 30 seconds, the blue light illuminating his sweating face. His knee bounces nervously. He keeps looking behind us, twisting in his seat to peer through the rear window. I follow his gaze in my side mirror but see nothing except empty asphalt and darkness. Whatever he's running from exists in his mind, or maybe it's something I haven't encountered yet. The weight of the unknown presses down on both of us. Then I see them. Red and blue lights flashing in the distance, creating a constellation of warning across the black canvas of night. A police checkpoint. My stomach drops. They're stopping every vehicle, no exceptions. Officers in yellow reflective vests stand in the middle of the road, flashlights swinging like pendulums. There's no exit. No turn-off. No way around it. We're committed. I glance in the mirror and watch the color drain from my passenger's face. His hands, which were fidgeting with his phone, suddenly freeze. His breathing becomes shallow and rapid. "No," he whispers, so quietly I almost don't hear it. "No, no, no." The word becomes a desperate mantra. He grips the suitcase handle so tightly his knuckles turn white. Sweat pours down his temples now, dripping onto his collar. And suddenly I'm terrified too, because whatever he's afraid of is about to become my problem. I slow down as we approach the checkpoint. My heart hammers against my ribs. Other cars ahead of us are being waved through after brief exchanges, but I know we won't be that lucky. I can feel it. The officer directing traffic makes eye contact with me and points to the shoulder, indicating I should pull over for a more thorough inspection. My passenger makes a sound, something between a gasp and a sob. "Please," he says, and I don't know if he's talking to me, to God, or to the universe itself. I pull over, parking where indicated, and kill the engine. The silence that follows is deafening. Two officers approach from different sides. One comes to my window, the other to the passenger side. Flashlight beams invade our space, illuminating everything, making secrets impossible. I roll down my window and the cool night air rushes in, carrying with it the smell of asphalt and something else, something sharp and metallic that might be fear. "Evening," the officer says, his tone professional but probing. He's young, maybe late 20s, with alert eyes that miss nothing. "License and registration, please." I hand them over with trembling fingers, trying to appear calm, cooperative, normal. But I don't feel normal. I feel like an accomplice to something I don't understand. My passenger doesn't move. "Sir, I need you to roll down your window," the officer says, louder this time. Still nothing. The officer exchanges a glance with his partner. Tension crackles in the air like electricity before a storm. Finally, with agonizing slowness, my passenger reaches for the window button and lowers it. The officer's flashlight immediately finds the suitcase. "Evening, sir. What brings you out so late?" The passenger swallows hard. His voice cracks when he speaks. "Catching a flight. Early morning departure." The officer nods slowly, but his eyes never leave the suitcase. "That's quite a large bag. What's your destination?" Another swallow. Another pause that lasts too long. "Business trip. California." The officer's expression doesn't change, but I see his hand rest on his belt, near his radio. "Sir, I'm going to need you to step out of the vehicle." The words hang in the air like a sentence being pronounced. My passenger closes his eyes. A single tear runs down his cheek, catching the flashlight beam and glittering like a diamond of despair. The door opens, and my passenger steps out on shaking legs. The officer guides him a few feet away from the car, and I watch in my side mirror as they talk in low voices. The other officer remains at my window, watching me, making sure I don't do anything stupid. My mind spirals through terrible possibilities. Drugs, weapons, money from a robbery, a body part. God, what if there's something horrible in that suitcase, and I'm going to be arrested as an accessory? I've seen enough true crime shows to know how this looks. The officer returns to the passenger side and opens the rear door fully. "Sir, I need to inspect this suitcase. Do I have your permission, or do I need to call for a K9 unit?" My passenger's shoulders slump in defeat. "You have my permission," he says, his voice barely audible. "Just, please, be careful with it." The officer lifts the suitcase out and sets it on the ground with a grunt, confirming what I suspected about its weight. He kneels beside it, unzips it slowly, and opens it wide. I hold my breath. Time stops. And then, in the flashlight beam, I see them. Hundreds of them. Vinyl records. Old, vintage vinyl records, carefully wrapped in protective sleeves, stacked with obsessive precision. Album covers from the 60s, 70s, 80s, jazz legends, rock icons, soul pioneers. Rare pressings worth thousands of dollars each. The officer looks up, confused. My passenger's face crumbles, and he starts talking rapidly. Words tumbling out like water from a broken dam. "They're my father's collection. He died 3 days ago. My brother wants to sell them, split the money. But these were Dad's life. Every record has a memory, a story. I couldn't let them be sold to strangers who'd never understand." So I took them. I stole my father's records from my own brother, and now I'm running away like a thief because I couldn't bear to lose the last pieces of him. Hit that subscribe button right now if you're still with us, because what happens next will blow your mind. Last Ride brings you the stories nobody else will tell. The officer stands slowly, looking at my passenger with an expression I can't quite read. Understanding, maybe. Sympathy, or perhaps just exhaustion from a long night shift dealing with human drama. He glances at his partner, some silent communication passing between them. Sir, this is a civil matter between you and your brother, not a criminal one. We're looking for drunk drivers and drugs tonight, not family disputes over inheritance. He helps my passenger repack the records with surprising gentleness, making sure each one is secure. But you need to talk to your brother. Work this out. Running away doesn't solve anything. My passenger nods, unable to speak, tears flowing freely now. The officer closes the suitcase, helps him load it back into my car, and steps back. Drive safely. Get him to the airport. Just like that, we're free to go. I pull back onto the highway in stunned silence. My passenger sits in the back, quietly weeping, holding that suitcase like it contains everything in the world that matters. And maybe it does. Maybe those records are more than just music. They're conversations he can never have again. Sunday mornings, listening to Miles Davis while his father cooked breakfast. Late nights when his dad would pull out a rare pressing and tell stories about seeing the artist live in some tiny club that doesn't exist anymore. The weight in that suitcase isn't vinyl. It's memory. It's love. It's the desperate human need to hold on to people who've left us, to keep them alive in whatever way we can. I understand now why he was so terrified, why he ran, why he couldn't let go. Some things are worth more than money. Some things, once lost, can never be recovered. We reach the airport as dawn begins to break, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. He pays, adds a generous tip, and starts to get out. Then he pauses. "Thank you," he says, looking me in the eye for the first time all night. For not judging, for just driving. I nod, not trusting my voice. He lifts the suitcase out, takes a deep breath of the morning air, and walks toward the terminal. I watch him go. This man carrying his father's soul in a black suitcase, flying toward an uncertain future, but at least flying with the pieces that matter. I sit there for a long moment, thinking about what we carry with us, what we can't let go of, and what it means to truly lose someone. The night shift is over, but this ride will stay with me forever. So what do you think happened next? Did he keep the records or eventually work things out with his brother? What would you have done in his situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Every story has multiple perspectives, and I want to hear yours. Have you ever held on to something that meant more to you than its actual value? Have you ever been willing to risk everything for a memory? Share your story with the Last Ride community. We're all just passengers trying to make sense of this journey called life. And if this story moved you, if it made you think about what truly matters, then do me a favor. Subscribe to Last Ride. Hit that notification bell, because every night, in cars just like mine, extraordinary things happen to ordinary people. Stories of fear and courage, desperation and hope, endings and beginnings. Stories that remind us we're all connected by the simple act of going somewhere, of moving forward, even when we don't know what's waiting at the destination. The next video is already queued up, and trust me, you won't believe where that ride takes us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And thank you for understanding that sometimes the most valuable things we carry can't be measured in dollars or weighed on a scale. They can only be felt in the heart. Safe travels, wherever the road takes you.